everything to everyone anymore, or that we will be constantly restructuring the non-core to focus on the core. And I bet that you will hear more such statements while here in Barcelona. Second, while focus is viable, scale is still essential. But scale needs to be deep, not just broad. We don't want a 10% share in 50 businesses. We would like a 50% share in 10 businesses. Only through that can you really leverage your R&D resources. So this means that while you can prioritize your regional presence, you simply cannot pass on the big markets of the world. Without a strong global presence, you will never be able to get to the share that is needed to generate profits. So the fact that we are number 2 in LTE, number 3 in wideband CDMA, number 3 in GSM, number 2 in services, and we hold top-tier positions in other key areas such as circuit switch core, evolved packet core, IMS, and customer experience management, that gives us considerable confidence in our future and ability to get scale. Third, productivity and efficiency are more important than ever before. Across our sector and at NSN, you've seen some wrenching changes as companies adapt to fundamentally different market conditions. We once had strong growth in our sector, but it is no more the case. Not in the medium term. This is the same tough change that has hit many others. Just look at personal computers. And it means that businesses have to be managed in a radically, not incrementally, but radically different way. Finally, the winners and losers start to become clearer in the infrastructure sector. Now, I've stood here before and said that I believe that with the market conditions as they are today, the sector can only support 3 long-term strong players. I will leave it to each of you to come up with your own view of those, who those players might be. But would suggest, if your gross margin is lower than NSN's operating profit margin, or if you continue to relentlessly burn cash, you will probably not be one of the long-term profitable survivors. You could survive, it might not be profitable. Now, I know I've spent a lot of time talking about NSN, but it has been a year of such remarkable change, and I know that that has been a topic of interest to all of you. But let me now turn to the other 2 topics that I mentioned at the start, LTE and making money on mobile data. 2012 was really the year of LTE, and we see that continuing in 2013. Just look at the speed of the LTE transition compared to 3G. 6 months after the release, there were already more than double the number of subscribers globally. LTE take-up is faster than that of wideband CDMA for a couple of reasons. First, there is a clear need for LTE networks because of smartphones. Second, LTE is the evolution for CDMA and WiMAX operators, not only 3GPP operators, so the starting point is just that much larger. And third, of course, that the device ecosystem came into play much sooner than it did in 3G after the launch of its initial releases. So far, so good, and it has been good for NSN. We now have 78 global LTE references, and our market share grew from 8% for the full year 2011 to 17% for the full year 2012. And you might remember that our market share progressively increased during the year. So at the end of the year, it's actually higher, but 17% for the full year. We have a strong presence in the world's most advanced LTE markets of Japan and Korea, where population density and service adoption rate set some pretty unique requirements for networks. We are a leading TD-LTE vendor with 11 commercial contracts. And we're working in close cooperation with the world's largest operator, China Mobile. All in all, 45% of the world's LTE subscribers are in networks for which we are one of the suppliers. Of course, building LTE coverage with the right partner and the right kind of future-proof products is important, but it only takes you so far. The real challenge is making money. And there are lots of things to be done in that regard. Let me talk about just 2 things: pricing and leveraging the value of the network. First, pricing. Our customers know a lot more about this topic than we do. although we do have the benefit of seeing how it plays out in networks around the world. And we see some remarkable things. Once upon a time, data was not exactly free, but also not far from it. The model was pay once and take as much as you would like. Not a model that has worked particularly well in many businesses around the world. I tried that when I walked into a car dealership and was shown the door pretty fast. Apparently, if you want a car, you have to pay for it. And if you want a second one, you have to pay for that as well. It was voice and SMS where the value was seen. And pricing there was driven by usage. You use more, you gain more. Pretty simple. And that worked well for a while. Now, some companies have taken a bold step and reversed that equation. Verizon, AT&T, and now others like SFR funds. Voice and SMS are now the commodities with unlimited use of both. It is data where the value is to be found, and smart operators are finding a way to capture that value. I believe this is a clever move, as it frees operators from caring about free internet voice and messaging. It lets them encourage their customers to use whatever data they like, in whatever form, tethering, voice over IP, you name it. Not surprisingly, in countries where voice is still sold in tiers, voice over IP cannibalization is the highest. Yet, if data is still all you can eat, the operator is really set to take a major beating. One company that seems to be really attacking these challenges head-on and succeeding is Verizon. On a recent conference call, their CFO noted that as customers move into the plans, they are adding more devices, using more data, and moving up in usage tiers, which generates more revenue for Verizon. Now that is good for Verizon and good for consumers as well, because it creates a healthy ecosystem where operators can continue to invest in the networks that make such a difference to so many people around the world. So, speaking of investing in the network, every year at Barcelona I say again that the network is back, that the network has real value. Yes, there is a lot of talk about it being a dumb pipe. Well, that is pretty much dumb as well. So like quality, it may not be the sexiest topic, but it is a massive, massive asset that can be leveraged in all kinds of new ways. For those of you who went to see our stand last year, you will remember our obsessive focus on customer experience management and on providing new tools that would help understand and leverage the value of each and every consumer. We continue to have that passion. And we have a whole set of new CEM for LTE capabilities onshore here at Barcelona. With these, operators will be able to target specific user groups based on device capabilities and usage trends, and also tap into some real-time insights about LTE service quality in specific locations. All pretty cool stuff. But this year, we think it gets even better with our introduction of something we don't think anyone else can currently match. We call that liquid applications. Now, think of this as an internet cloud server that's really close to the customer. Caching content locally is nothing new in itself. But we are taking it a step further, right to the base station, and enhancing it with real-time radio. With real-time radio, network, and end-user information. So when you have that, you can offer services and applications that are personal, relevant, and local. So try to imagine it this way. You place an order to your favorite store for a new pair of shoes. Rather than the store delivering this from their central warehouse based in some faraway location, it is delivered from their local shop. But there's more, because you shop using the store on a regular basis, let's say. They already know your shoe size, because they know you personally. They know when you're at home to deliver. They might even know that you like extra shoelaces or a special kind of polish, like I do. So they give you a special offer for those items. Liquid applications can make all this and more possible. It can also open up new opportunities for future cooperation with over-the-top layers and application developers. Now think about location services that are more sophisticated than just finding the closest Starbucks. Operators could, for example, host content locally on the base station and provide service level guarantees for priority content, such as video streaming of a live concert. The user location can be used to change the content that the user sees, providing only relevant local information on hotels, theaters, restaurants, and other businesses become practical and possible. So going a step further, a local application running on a certain base station with a certain trigger, like the number of users in a cell area, could in fact change the way the city around you works. Traffic lights, bus schedules, and so on. And of course, the physical network, particularly in the urban settings I've been talking about, is changing too. As part of our award-winning FlexiZone small cell underlay solution, we are introducing 2 next-generation FlexiZone access points that are among the most compact that the industry has ever seen. The FlexiZone Micro and Pico actually evolve on-site. They can start out as standalone base stations, then grow into FlexiZone access points as hotspots become hot zones. We're also able to demonstrate how we are addressing street-level small cell deployment challenges for operators so that they can get the maximum performance with the lowest total cost of ownership. I strongly believe that we are in an industry where companies that have the right strategy and the ability to execute can be successful. And this is as true for infrastructure vendors as NSN as it is for operators. It is not a strategy where you cling on to what made you money in the past in the futile hope that the old days will return. It is not a strategy that traps you to want to continue to be an end-to-end provider just because it worked a decade ago. The right strategy is one that, despite a flat market, can deliver constant margin expansion and positive free cash flow generation for us towards our long-term goal of 5 to 10% operating margins. That strategy is based on investing in the right technologies at the right time, focusing on the right geographical markets, and ensuring a healthy regional and products versus services mix. All built on disciplined execution that gets us to be the leanest company in our sector. That's our ambition. So I hope you take the time to visit our stand over the next few days. You will see some pretty groundbreaking technologies for sure. You will see our customers eager to hear about how they can improve their operations and become more profitable businesses. But you will also see NSN employees with a bit of a swagger in their step, and a confidence born of knowing that they are part of a company which is lean, which is focused, which is technologically advanced, and which has an increasing edge over its competitors. These are exciting times. Thank you. I'll now take your questions.
Thank you very much.